So, what was the last thing you bought?
So I bought some gaffing equipment recently from Amazon. It
Now it's
was stuff
actually
I
working.
knew
Cool.
Okay, so the
what
last thing I
brand I
bought
wanted, and I
online
knew it
was
was
a
on
pair of
Amazon.
shoes. I think it was a
So
pair of Yeezys.
The last
Bought
thing
them
I
from
bought
StockX.
was two
StockX
books
is a
for
site
my
similar
English
to
and my
eBay.
film
You
class
can
from
find stuff,
thriftlooks.com.
The last thing I bought on
Okay, so
Amazon
how much
was this board game. I bought my brother for Christmas. It was called like the Games of Kachan or the Land of Kachan, something like that. And it's like some.
If it's something I know, like I've used before, I tend to shop online. If it's something that, like, especially like a movie or a book, I'll buy online too, even if I've never read it or seen it. But if it's like, an item or like clothes or anything like that, I like to do that in person just so I can like get a sense of what it's like before I pay for it.
When I was really young, I got into dressing weird and vintage and old stuff early on. Had a friend whose mom was, I like to call her like an original hipster. Like she was just very cool and had lots of antiques in the house, lots of art and more vintage. And so I was inspired by her. My name is Marissa Rothman Pierce, and my shop is called Bottle of Bread. I've been selling vintage clothing for a little over 10 years. I started my Etsy shop in 2008, and I opened a brick and mortar in 2013.
Now, like, it's kind of unique because you started your store, like, e-commerce 1st like, as an Etsy store.
Yeah, well, I mean, I started it when I was in high school, so it was just a way to make some extra cash. But yeah, people normally have a shop and then they open up an e-commerce store, so I kind of did it the opposite way, just because I didn't have the ability to open up a retail store, but I'd always wanted like an actual brick and mortar shop. Yeah. So my online shop is a lot higher end. And a lot more expensive, because in Baltimore, you're working with a really specific clientele of people, and lots of students, some like lower income, and so you want to kind of have a curated collection that's for that. And also a lot of people who are just want to shop secondhand and not necessarily vintage, and so they're not necessarily looking for like a 1930s dress, you know. But online, those people are hunting for that. They're searching that out for specific antique pieces and designer stuff and whatever. So it's a lot more specific and a lot higher end online for me. The industry I'm in is like very specific. Everything's kind of like a one of a kind, but people do like constantly. People are saying like, "Oh, I just went on Etsy. I just bought some vintage stuff on Etsy." And they're not shopping in retail spaces as much. I mean, I kind of have the best of both worlds because I do have an online shop and I have a brick and mortar. And yeah, places like Sears are closing because Amazon is underbidding them and stuff, but people have become really obsessed lately with the idea of small businesses and supporting local small businesses. So there's been kind of like a boom in that recently. And it's not going to ever be what it once was. People will always go online to find stuff. It's just easy, so that's kind of like a constant battle, I think, for small businesses. So it's a combination. I kind of try to advertise for my online shop and my retail space in the same kind of go, which can be hard because price points are very different and like items are very different. I just try to have like a good variety of stuff that I'm posting, and I try to engage with people and specifically engage with like the Baltimore community. Like I really... those are the people that I'm really trying to sell to. Like I love the face-to-face interaction. Like I love when someone comes into the store and wants to shop, or like even they saw something online and they came in to try it on. Like that is what I like. And it's hard because people are so glued to their phones and rather just shop online. So that's kind of a hard pull, but that's like my ultimate goal, is to get people in the door of the actual brick and mortar store. The e-commerce / retail side of it is just very interesting because it's not like a regular store, you don't just have like 40 of the same thing. So yeah, I see it continuing on in e-commerce and retail, and I don't know what the future holds, but I'm willing to ride the wave.
That's